Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to have you here with us at London Film Festival. Maybe you could begin with a brief introduction to A Nice Indian Boy. For people who don't know anything about the film, what can they expect going in?
Yeah, well, my name is Roshan Sethi. I'm the director of A Nice Indian Boy. This is Karan Soni, who's the star of A Nice Indian Boy. The plot of the movie is essentially that Karan's character, Naveen, falls in love with Jonathan Groff and brings his character home to his crazy Indian family. So it's like My Big Fat Greek Wedding, but it's Indian and it's gay with Jonathan Groff.
So nothing like it.
Yeah.
And I understand was it originally adapted from a play?
Yes.
So what was it about this story, the adaptation? Why do you think it was going to work so well on the big screen?
Well, the play is tested by time. It was originally performed in 2014 and has been intermittently performed since then. It was written by Madhuri Shekhar. And then the script was an amazing adaptation that made the play much more cinematic. And then we brought our own very specific experiences as gay Indians who are in a real life partnership to bear on the script as well. But it was the process of adapting it from a play to a movie was, to me, not the difficult part at all. It made so much sense as a movie even before it was one.
And for you, jumping on board, taking on this character, what was the appeal for you?
It was so exciting. I knew that they had offered it to him to direct first, and he was telling me all about it because all we do is talk about our careers because we're a Hollywood couple. And so once the initial jealousy went away, he was like, they want you to play the part. I was like, oh, cool. I'm happy for you. And so, no, he gave me this script, and I think we both felt the same way, which so much of our life experiences were in this movie and in the script, and it felt like almost like it was made for us to kind of bring to life, which doesn't almost ever happen. You often are putting yourself being like, I think I can see myself doing this or whatever. So it felt like kind of a crazy thing if it did end up happening, which is that he would get to direct this movie and I would get to play this part in a thing that's so personal to both of us. And that's how the making of it has felt, and now putting it out in the world.
What is the collaboration between the two of you like? How is that bringing it? Just is there any kind of bleeding between your personal life and work life, or is it something that strengthens the artistic process?
I've always felt that our artistic work strengthens our relationship and is a beautiful way of exploring it and deepening it. In terms of our process, I wouldn't say that there actually is much of one, because it's not as if we talk endlessly about how he will perform the role before he performs it. He prefers not to talk about it at all. And I don't really have anything to say anyways. So it really is not like there's much happening there. The writing process is combining his interest in comedy with my interest in drama. So there's maybe a little bit more of actual collaboration there. But otherwise, it's very intuitive and we trust each other. I would say that's most of it.
In terms of kind of the genre, the look and feel of the film, I mean, everyone's always sort of saying, like about rom-coms, like, did the genre sort of died, back when it was from its heyday in the 2000s, which of course is not true. And I just love every time it sort of gets reinvented and a fresh spin on it. So How do you see it both sitting within that kind of genre, but also bringing something new to it too?
I think it very much belongs to the genre, but it adds all these other elements like family tradition and cultural tradition, and it places a romance very much in the context of the two people and how they grew up. I think it is original for reasons that are hard to describe. It just is something new. It's not quite what rom-com has been before. And rom-coms are difficult in general because most of them have to adhere to the conventions of the genre or they lose their audiences, but at the same time they have to feel fresh. So I've always felt that rom-coms are the hardest thing to pull off. They get probably the least critical attention and praise, but they are the hardest thing to do and to make. But we're really proud of this one.
Is it a genre you've always loved as well?
Yes, I loved it. I grew up on Bollywood, so there's a lot of rom-com, rom action, rom drama, like there's rom in everything. And then this movie really feels very Bollywood. It's inspired by a lot of Bollywood. There is Bollywood in it. And so that was really fun. Like it feels like a Hollywood version of that. A lot of times, at least in America and stuff, people are curious about Bollywood movies and they watch it. It's too alienating for them. But this feels in a weird way like it's tugging at all the things that we feel watching Bollywood, but anyone can watch it and kind of it like lets people in, which is really nice.
And in terms of the casting process, for the rest of the cast, what was it like, but particularly with your co-star? And I guess the chemistry between the two of you was going to be key to landing both the romance and the comedy.
Yeah, we cast Jonathan Groff as a cold submission. We sent it to him, and we were fortunate enough that he said yes. He did not know Karan was gay and suggested him to play the role, not knowing that we were real-life partners. and said even though he's straight, could it work? And I said he is gay, and he's gay with me, and we ended up making it work. Zarna is Instagram famous. She's a very popular stand-up comedian who blew up on TikTok and Instagram, and we ended up asking her if she'd be open to acting, which she was, and she is very talented in the movie. Peter Kim is his old friend who I saw performing improv, and then we cast that way as well. So all the casting was pretty organic, but the chemistry between Jonathan and Karan was a godsend because they had barely interacted before the movie began shooting. He wasn't there for prep, and there were no rehearsals.
Yeah, chemistry, just like a lot of acting, you can't really plan. It just either happens or doesn't, but it helps if you like the person. Although sometimes they say people hate each other and then they were great. So you can't really, but we really like Jonathan and we felt very lucky. So we've spent so much time with him now getting the movie out, and we just love spending time with him. So our hope was that would show on screen. So, yeah.
And Jonathan is in real life like the kindest, sweetest person. He almost has the personality of like Shah Rukh Khan in Bollywood movies, like the character he plays. Like he's full of love and emotion and openness, and he's earnest and unashamed, and he's like an amazing person to spend time around. It's not possible really to work with him and not love him. So we became very fond of him. He's also the reason it got made, because there's no way to finance a movie like this without a meaningful white actor, which is horrible and the nature of the industry. But his saying yes is the reason it got funded, not any of us saying yes, which is an unfortunate symptom of the way the industry is constructed.
And in the making of it, on the shoot, what were some of your favourite moments when you watch it back now? Do you have a favourite scene? And on the flip side, did anything go wrong? Were there any major hurdles?
The scene that is the most memorable in terms of the shooting to me is the sex scene, because I was directing my real life partner having sex with Jonathan Groff, and it was just the three of us in the room plus a dolly grip, who we later found out was also gay. So that seems to me like just a strange scene in and of itself. But I literally felt nothing. Like I did not feel jealous. I don't know why. Probably because Jonathan is actually oddly not threatening, and I trusted him and loved him so much. And he is also, it seems, very good at sex, because he just was like very tender and knew what to do in a way that we were both like, I guess this is how you have sex, because he was like putting the pillow in certain place. I mean, we really learned a lot.
That's the headline. Jonathan is very good at sex.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know because we have not had sex with, but you can tell he is. Like, you can just tell.
Mine were my favorite scenes were with Peter Kim, who plays my best friend in the movie, because we both got to improvise a lot and just kind of, he's very funny, and it was just really fun because we were just trying to make the crew laugh and Roshan laugh, and that's always fun.
Anything go wrong though? No?
Nothing went wrong in those. Yeah, if anything, they were just too crass sometimes, and then we completely abandoned our characters, and Roshan would be like, please stay in character and say what you would say, and we were like, oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
And he was like, you are playing doctors, so please try to like make some reality with that instead of just,
I felt like neither of them really knew how to play doc. I'm a doctor as well. I still practice in addition to directing, and I felt like neither of them really understood the medicine at all, and they were furthermore not at all interested in learning the medicine or acting like realistic doctors. So the few doctors who've watched the movie have all been like literally appalled by the medical inaccuracies, and a lot of them are like, why is he standing and looking at an MRI? What is he looking at? Why is he there looking at it? None of it makes sense. So the medical inaccuracies are probably the biggest issue with the movie and the thing that went wrong the most.
And in terms of the takeaways, hopefully that's not the only one.
Yeah.
But you know, I guess like all kind of rom-coms, first and foremost, you want people to be sort of taken into this world, be laughing, also enjoying the romance. But, you know, then there are these other themes in there about identity, about coming from different backgrounds. So what do you think some of the takeaways could be?
I personally don't care at all about the message or the messages that are underneath the film. Those, I think, are enjoyed or perceived incidentally. The thing I care the most is that you feel love when you watch it. And I think that is the great thing about art, is that occasionally, at its most transcendent, you feel like you are perceiving or enjoying or touching. And I feel the movie has that quality at moments. Not throughout, but when you feel it, if you allow yourself to, you feel it. And that, I think, is a wonderful thing, and the thing I care about the most.
Yeah, I think for me, it's a movie you can watch with your family and your parents, which I feel more and more in entertainment, there's fewer stuff you can watch, and it deals with things that maybe younger generations are dealing with and older generations, where they can watch it together, and it's a very disarming movie. It kind of openly welcomes everyone in, and I think that's one of its great strengths, because we'll see a lot of festival audiences of all ages, and they're all having this communal experience, which is was really nice and special.
And what's it meant to you to have the film here at London Film Festival? And do you feel like there's any difference in the kinds of audiences you get in different places, particularly like the British audience?
Yeah, I think the British is some of the best because London is such a melting pot, even more than New York and other places in America. It really feels like you just are walking around and you see everything. And then Indian people have just been here for so long. And it's such a part of the culture that we really felt like a lot of those jokes were hitting so hard in the screening here, even more than in America often. So it's kind of the perfect audience. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this audience has felt like a cross section of all the other audiences that we've previously enjoyed the movie with. There's gays, there's South Asians, there's people who are neither of those things but still relate to the movie. When we were testing the movie, the highest testing audience were white women. It's interesting because you assume that there's a one-to-one correspondence, like this movie is for this population, and that is almost never the case. I think it proves the more specific you make something, the more universal you make something. But I truly do believe the movie is for everyone. And I always resist the gay rom-com South Asian stuff because I think by foisting those labels on the movie, it almost ends up excluding people who might be more touched by the movie than the people who belong to the audiences that are within the movie. So.
And what's next for you both? You're going to be working together again?
Yeah, I've written a rom-com that's being produced by Ryan Reynolds' production company that I'm hoping to make next year. We're going out to cast now.
I'm about to act in a indie thriller where I murder people called Fade to Black. So get ready for that.
Will, thank you so much for sharing
Yeah,
with me. Huge congrats on the film and really enjoyed presenting it here in London. Thanks so much.